So I have a latest Airsoft update, and this update actually involves all my guns, or all my good guns. So thought it was worthy of the next update. Put more interesting stuff. This one's on a lighter note since the last update was about a gun actually being broken. This is pretty much the opposite. So like I said I was gonna do, I actually converted the Jelly Bretta into a Deans. It's the male Deans plug. And the reason I did that was because the FN2000 came with the this LiPo, which was already converted to Deans. So now both these guns are on Deans. I'll put a little shooting on the. I'll overlap some shooting of how this gun performs with Deans. And to be honest, it's a lot better trigger response. I mean, it's not just because it's a LiPo. I mean, I had the LiPo in here before, but the trigger response is faster. It's crisper. It's really consistent. And the full auto is pretty good. I mean, I don't remember how the full auto was before. I don't like going full auto. I'm using this semi-auto a lot more as a DMR sort of, but it's got real range issues. It's actually got the FN stock barrel in there right now. The compression is really bad on this gun right now. On the FN, since this involves almost all my guns in this one update, I actually got the silencer on it. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. The Gemtech black slide. And I'm just going to stick with it on there for probably forever. I don't know. But it looks really cool, so I'm not going to take it off anytime soon. So yeah, those are minor things with both the AEGs, and the Thompson's still broken. Maybe I'll sell that. I'm thinking about it. Alright, now as most of you know, this channel has a lot to do with the Novak, and in the last video I was talking about how everything was broken on it. Well, almost every day for like a month or two I was checking Evike for their new parts. I needed a hammer basically, and that was it, and it's going to be good to go. I got a hammer, but it was the wrong one, and I already knew that, of course. So I bought a hammer, replacement WeTech hammer. It's obviously not WeTech themselves, but they didn't brand it. And I got another Future Energy product. Yeah, I got another Future Energy product. It's actually the leaf spring for this gun, and I'll talk about that once I start handling it, the weapon. So what I actually bought was on this weapon's got gas in it. What I bought was a Colt 1911 style hammer. Yeah, so I bought a Colt 1911 style hammer, which is only for the Colts since they have a different design on the beaver tail. But I already knew this. I knew this before I bought it, that I was gonna have to file it down, and I actually had to file it down a lot. So you can see the Colt hammer on a MAU frame and the MAU style beaver tail. I don't think I've ever seen this done before on a SOCOM gear, but it works, and it feels a lot different cocking it back, and just the way it hits, you know, the sound and everything, it's different. And it's for the best. There's nothing I can really complain. I actually kind of like it. And one of the cool things I noticed, I could do this one-handed, is that it can be decocked. Try to do this. Yeah, so if I had two hands I could decock this, but with the combat hammers, they go to about here if you try to decock them, because if you manually decock these, I'm pretty sure the slide will cycle and it'd hit your thumb. And yeah, so a Colt 1911 hammer on a MAU frame. I've never seen it done before, and you know, I was waiting on one of the high kappa combat style hammers, but they weren't in stock. So I got this one since it finally came in stock. I actually had to message Evike several times to tell them to get parts. They finally did after I complained enough. And this was in stock. It was actually $10. And the Future Energy leaf spring in the back. Hold on. You can see my beaver tail safety actually works. It's really good. Like, there's no way of telling in the video, but the trigger pull is stiffer. It's stiffer and it's harder to pull. Not too bad. I mean, of course, hammer cocked, it doesn't matter at all, but it's a lot stiffer. It feels more real, I would say. I mean, the old one was just like clink clink, you know, you could pull it back really quick. But this leaf spring is a lot stiffer, and it'll probably last a lot longer than the old one did, and I won't have none of them stupid full auto problems for at least hopefully a long while. So the hammer took a lot of modifying. I actually used these big metal filers on them, and they're pretty big. That took good care of it. And it's still got the gas mods in it, and still got my upgrades in it, and I guess I could shoot it right now. It's got the original mag. Oh wait, no, the mag has the modification. Alright. It's not locking back, but yeah, I don't know why it's not locking back. But something I noticed with this is that this is actually how it was with my original hammer. Take out the mag again. Mag's actually pretty well stuck in there. When you're cocking this gun slowly, releasing it slow actually gets the hammer caught on the part of the blowback mechanism, and that's how it was on the original hammer. Eventually, it'll wear out the hammer, and you'll start to be able to cycle your slide better. You can see it's hitting that part. But yeah, Colt 1911 hammer on an MAU frame. I've never seen it done before, and it's been done to the Novak. So I didn't want to wait for those other hammers, so I did that to this gun. And now that it's working, I think I'm going to do the review soon. I'm no longer going to do a paint job, and there's only one upgrade left to this gun externally that I'm going to do before I basically call it finished. And it is well, sneak peek in this video, it's going to be a Wilson Combat magwell that goes behind your grip panels, and you don't have to replace your mainspring housing. So I'm actually going to get a magwell for this gun, and it'll be complete. It'll be really badass, and I'm satisfied with it. I'm already satisfied with it, but you know, it could do a little more internal modifications like inner barrels. Alright, time for the most exciting part of the review. Or, not the review, what am I saying? The update. And that is the two-toned KWE Glock 23F in two-tone. Now I've been saying I was gonna do this for a long time. Ever since I think it was the Airsoft storage video. I've been saying I wanted to do this, and I finally did it. I based this design. I've actually can't find this on any real Glocks. I based the two-tone Glock design on a Airsoft gun called the Army Glock 17. The brand is Army, and yeah, that was a really sweet looking gun. It was basically, this is the paint job it had, and you know, that was a really cool looking Glock, and I wanted to recreate that with a KWA. I've only seen it done once before, and that was by a YouTuber named Aquasman99, and I like his videos a lot. He doesn't make Airsoft videos anymore, but me and him, we talked about Glocks at one point, and I noticed he had a KWA Glock 19 that was already done like this, so maybe he saw that Army Glock 2, because I can't find this paint job just by searching for it alone. Two-tone Glock, couldn't find it. And yeah, this is a really neat paint job. It's just the sides, like only the sides and the cocking serrations are done in silver. This was actually done using acetone, taking acetone to the slide to wear off most of the paint, and then using compressed air tools to sand it down really fast. Then after the compressed air tools, we brought in acetone, and we primed this. No, we put me and my dad did this, since he's handy with this stuff. I did a lot of work on it too. I mean, it's just not like I handed it to my dad and had him do it. I did a lot of work too. We put tape over the chrome parts we wanted, or I wanted. After we did the tape, we bought primer. Yeah, we bought primer, and we primed up the rest of the slide and painted it with the black paint. Actually, this paint's kind of crappy. It's Walmart paint, but it's not gonna hold up too long. But eventually, when this paint starts to scratching, see, it's already kind of scratched, and it's nicked in a couple places. But yeah, paint's not that great. And this rear sight was an extreme bitch to get on. It was, oh my god, it's not even center anyway. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not exactly center on the slide, and it was so hard to get on. It was ridiculous. Anyway, another thing is that I've never seen anyone actually do a good job when they chrome out their Glocks near the selector switch. I could have done it good, but the reason they don't is because they can't get it out. There's a screw. Oh wait, I forgot to mention that we shined it up using Brasso, so that's what we used. Okay, so underneath the rear sight, once you get off, there's a tiny Allen screw, which I've heard from this guy on YouTube, I don't know if it's true, is a certain size that only KWA makes and sells the Allen key for. I was able to get it out using a tool from one of these sets. I'm not exactly sure which one it was. I actually think it was this guy right here. It was a flathead. It's just a really small flathead that managed to fit in there. So a really tiny flathead fit in there, and I was able to get it out. And that's how I took out that little tiny screw. And that is like one of the ways to get the selector switch out. This little guy comes out, and then you go from there. But two-tone on a KWA Glock 23F, I don't think it's ever been done before on a 23F. It's been done on the 19, and that was Aquasman. And yeah, so it's pretty badass looking. It's pretty disappointing how I can't touch the slide anymore, and there's actually too much paint on the inside, so it kind of clunks because of the paint, and it needs to be lubricated. And there's a lot of problems with having a chrome slide. Is touching it wears out the chrome, and then having too much paint on the railings makes it clunk, and lubing it would probably ruin the chrome as well. So this is what I was the bulk of the what's it called, the Airsoft update. Two-tone KWA Glock 23F, probably never done before. So it's pretty badass. Yeah. So I forgot to mention anything. Yeah, well, I actually started working on the montage for this gun, and the selector popped out. The montage is going to be the same thing. It's going to be black in the beginning with orange tip. Then in the middle, you're going to see it without an orange tip, just scratched off. And then towards the end of the video, it's going to look like this for the rest of the video. So that'll top it off. It'll actually be 3 different stages in this gun's paint job history by the end of the montage. And same thing with the Novak. The Novak started with the combat hammer, and it started with no gas mods. And it's actually going to end the montage with Colt hammer, modified gas tape mods, and Wilson Combat Magwell, a real one, real steel for real 1911s. You actually got to modify the metal, and I'll probably make a video on that since it's pretty interesting. But a funny thing I noticed about these Wilson Combat SOCOM gears is that the inserts, I've only ever seen them on an airsoft gun ever in a Wilson Combat 1911 airsoft. I've never seen these inserts in any other airsoft gun but this model, and it's pretty weird. Like, I have at least 2, maybe 3 pictures of this gun with these inserts, and it's always Wilson Combat. So I thought that was funny. And the Wilson Combat Magwell is actually on this exact gun in airsoft, so that was cool. So I actually didn't finish the airsoft update. I filmed it last night, and there was one thing I forgot to touch up on. Was that this tiny, well, it has no markings on the bag, so there's this tiny little piece of plastic, I'll flash it on the screen, that breaks all the time in Wetex. So it's broken on me twice so far, and they last quite a while, but the heavy recoil that's going on in this thing eventually will break that little piece. And it is on the hop up. Let me see if I can. This little black square right here is the piece that constantly keeps breaking. What it does is it'll keep the inner barrel in the right positioning on the outer barrel. If this doesn't if this is missing, then the barrel will get stuck every time it fires. You gotta push it down. There's actually some footage of that, and that happened a long time ago, and it was a big pain in the ass. But the worst thing about these little pieces is that the only place I know where to buy them is Evike, of course, Evike. And when it broke originally, the first time it broke, they didn't even have it yet. I actually had to get it from an airsoft shop, but they closed. And the only place that has this is Trinity Airsoft, and they sell it for $1.50, which is still a lot of money for a little tiny piece of plastic, which probably took a couple pennies to make. And the only other place is UN Company. But the thing is, the best place to buy them, and the only place to buy them, because Trinity Airsoft's out of stock. If they were in stock, I would have bought 10 of these guys, because that's how much they cost. They're actually like $7, and $7. And if you bought nothing but just one of these squares, which is $7 and then some, you still gotta pay $5 for shipping. So this little tiny square actually ends up costing almost $10, and it's only gonna last a couple months before it breaks again. If they come in stock on Trinity Airsoft, buy them in bulk, because you're gonna need a lot of them. Alright, now the reason I continued the video, even though it's going on longer than I wanted it to originally, is because I actually got a new piece of gear, a new thing for my kit. Now, I may have mentioned before that I'm trying to do I'm going to do a Ghost Recon loadout, because I already did a Splinter Cell one. And since I was going to pay $5 for shipping for the little tiny square on the Novak, I thought, hey, I might as well make good use of that shipping. And I bought this face mask. Now, I didn't have a face mask to play Airsoft, so I finally got one. And I really don't, well, it's a mesh mask with this like neoprene, or I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's kind of soft. You press really hard on it, and it's gonna deflect BBs pretty well. But basically, it's a mesh mask with the neoprene thing glued on. You can see the glue, cheaply done in China, and it's had a big sticker on it that said made in China. Here's the company that makes it. They have like a Halo 3 skull as their logo, TMC Tactical Gear. So this was hanging on it, and e-bike, I'll put some links, and I'm not really sure the full exact name that they advertise this as, but on e-bike they call it like the Avengers mask. And to me, this is Ghost Recon. I mean, first time I saw it was on a Chinese website for only like 15 bucks, and it just came out, and I found it right away. And I thought, hey, that'd be cool if I could make a Ghost Recon loadout. And I actually saw some glow-in-the-dark Ghost Recon patches, which I was gonna put on each of my arms for the loadout. And e-bike actually stopped selling those, so that sucks. And this mask off e-bike is a ripoff. It's $25. And to be honest, it's not worth even close to $25. $15 is still a lot for what the thing is. But yeah, so there might be a full review on this. Since this is just an update, you know, I'm just showing it right now. I'm not gonna talk too much about it. And yeah, so I got my lower face mask. I'm gonna need goggles and a Mitch helmet, the cool one from Ghost Recon. And I've actually heard that I've actually heard some different ideas for this mask. Is somebody said Hannibal Lecter, I guess because of the holes. I don't really know too much about that. I think that's Silence of the Lambs or something. And my friend actually called me a noob Sabot from Mortal Kombat, since this looks like that. I guess maybe I'll put a picture on the screen because I don't really know who noob Sabot is yet either. And yeah, so there's a new piece of gear for Ghost Recon loadout. So that'll come not even close to now, really far in the future. There'll be a Ghost Recon loadout video. And yeah, so that basically concludes the Airsoft update.